everyone. This is author, motivational speaker, and dating coach Matthew C. Horn. And I'm bringing you a video today titled First Option Treatment versus Second Option Treatment. And this video is in regard to the treatment that you get from women when you meet them and what it's going to immediately translate to and what it means down the line if you continue to interact with them. But before we go any further, please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Also, this video is a parallel and a variation of my book, How to Get Beautiful Women and Everything Else You Want from Life. It's a very great book and it's available at my website, www.matthewchorn.com. So yeah, this topic it's near and dear because it's personally responsible for why I continuously have the experiences that I have with women that I enjoy. Is that I can see how she sees me as soon as I meet her through the initial interaction. And I was out the other night, places are reopening, and I was with a friend of mine, and him and we're very different in how we approach life, women, everything. We're built completely different, but neither one of us are bad people. We're just very different. So we were hanging out, and I saw this girl. And so he's a little hesitant sometimes to approach women and this and that. And I'm more forthright. It's kind of funny sometimes to see if I see a woman I like, just how there's no intrepidation, there's no fear whatsoever. She likes me or she doesn't, and I'm going to give her the opportunity to show me whether she likes me or she doesn't. So I see this extremely, extremely beautiful woman. I kind of look at her. I see she's talking to someone on the phone. I'm just feeling her energy. Has a little bit of an attitude, and I probably could tell just by her demeanor like that. That's probably not something that would necessarily be for me. But she was gorgeous nonetheless. And my friend saw her. I was like, man, you need to just go up there and holler at her real quick. So he's like, you know what? I'm going to do it. He mustered up some courage, turned around. I sat there and I watched the whole thing. And I can tell by her body language that she was into him. She definitely was into him. And it was good to see, because I don't really see him really engaged with that many women, when we're out. So it was cool. He got her number. They talked for a little bit. Then he came back over to me. He was excited. And, he was telling me how the whole thing went down. Okay. So essentially, everyone has to wear their masks now. That's a requirement at most venues. So she says, I want to see how you look. Pull your mask down. So she started giving him instructions. And, normally when girls are trying to give you a hard time and this and that, it's not because they necessarily see you as a first option type of guy. A first option type of guy, they say, hey, I'm attracted to you. Here's my number. And that's the beginning and the end of it. You may have a little small talking conversation, but there's generally no resistance when she sees you as a top tier first option type of guy. So she gave him a hard time, asked him to pull his mask down. And I think she, did a couple of other things just to position herself over him. And as he was telling me this, I was just like, man, well, I'm glad you talked to her, because as soon as she would have asked me to pull my mask down, I would have said, hey, we can step outside and see each other, face to face with no filter and just, have more space to talk. Or, I'm not doing that. We all have our mask on. You're my type. I can clearly see that you're my type. Even without you pulling your mask down, I came over here because I'm attracted to you. Now, as the night progresses, the girl actually called him. And, while we were still in the venue, it was more or less saying, what are you doing after this? I want to meet up with you. Meaning she wanted to spend some more time with him. But I had in the back of my mind that she already jerked this guy around. And he put up with it. And he made excuses like, oh, man, she might be a hood girl. They like testing guys to see if they're weak. No. If a woman is really into a man, there's no resistance. It's only cooperation. That's the name of the game. So she calls the guy, she calls my friend, and they start kind of trying to plan to get together. She's with some friends, so she has to break away at some point, and they're trying to just coordinate. And he kind of left it up to her, which was cool. And the night progresses, and I think he calls her again, and she's just like, it's kind of a 15-minute window at this point as to when they're going to meet up. And I had been in the place long enough. He felt like he had spent enough time there, and at this time he's ready to leave with her. So we get to the parking lot, and he's calling the girl, and essentially it's just going to voicemail. And this is even before we left the venue. He was, he started calling her some more, going to voicemail, wasn't picking up, wasn't returning texts. And then finally, he kind of like blew her up a couple times. And, it was evident that she didn't want to deal with the guy. So, but I kind of saw this coming, because anytime you let a woman give you second option treatment, she's going to treat you like a second option. That's just the name of the game. And as the night turned out, even though she was attracted to my friend, and his position and his stance was one that she was superior to him because he was putting up with her treatment. Another thing that happened that particular night, there was a young lady who I had seen walking around, and she was sexy. She looked good. And my friend and I were walking, and the girl was about to pass me. I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" And she didn't stop. She slowed down and was looking at me, but she was kind of kept walking. But I had stopped, because if I'm a first option, then if you're very attracted to me, you're going to stop as well. I don't care how it looks, who you're in front of, or anything like that. And I just let her keep going, because I'm not going to pursue or chase any woman. That's not what first option men do. Okay? And so my friend, fitting with who he is, he says, "Man, why'd you let her go? She was looking at you." And I was just like, well, she was moving away from me. And I don't talk to women who are moving away from me, even if they're looking at me, even if they're attracted to me. That's not my reality. And he was just saying, well, sometimes you have to pursue a woman. Exactly what he had done to get him in the position that he was in that night. That's his mindset. You have to pursue a woman. No, you don't. If you're a first option, you make yourself available to a woman, and she meets you. That's first option man versus second option man. Okay? So I let her walk by, and he's telling me, "Oh man, sometimes you have to pursue the woman," and all this other stuff. This guy has spent a year plus around me, seeing me get some of the most beautiful women either one of us have ever laid eyes on, and none of them were moving away from me. And I had to remind him, I was like, all the women you've seen me get, has any of them ever walked away from us? Think of the great nights we done had out here. Think of all the women we've met, all the moves we've made. Have any of them ever moved away from me? And he was like, no. And I said, talking to a woman who's moving away from me, that is not my reality. But when two people, are so different, when one sees himself as the first option type of man, and the other one sees himself as the second option type of man, the reality of the first option man can be right in front of their face, and they're oblivious to it, and they have an inability to connect to it because they see themselves as a second option man. So therefore their mindset, their essence, and their movements are going to correlate with them seeing themselves as a second option man, and it's not going to make sense, the movements and the results and the reality of the first option man. So I'm bringing you this video today so that you can make a decision as to what type of treatment that you're going to expect and tolerate from women. Are you the first option man? Are you the man that values himself enough to only deal with and interact with the woman who is moving toward you? Or do you see yourself as the second option man who's going to put up with anything, allow her to establish a dynamic where she is more important, more valuable, and superior to you? That's the question that you have to ask yourself. And that is a question that begins within yourself based on how you see yourself. Today's video, once again, has been brought to you by my book, How to Get Beautiful Women and Everything Else You Want from Life. It's available at www.matthewchorn.com. In the description, you will find information on how to purchase my book, how to get one-on-one coaching if you desire, if you want to elevate, your game, your understanding, and your results that you want to have with the opposite sex, let's have a conversation. You can email me at matthewchorn23@gmail.com. Once again, that is in the description. Also, if you want to support the cause and donate, my PayPal information is in the description as well. I look forward to bringing you all many more videos, and I'll be back at you very soon. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe.